Hello and welcome everyone to our C language tutorial. So this tutorial assumes that you already installed code blocks as our IDE to be used in these projects. Okay, to start with, I want you to create your own folder in your computer. As for myself, I want it to be saved inside the documents folder within my computer. I just need to click on the file explorer here and then create my own folder in the documents, and then I will name it my C projects, something like that. So as for you, you just need to take note of this location, because this is where we're going to save all of our C projects. So I'm going to also take note of that. Now let's start with our IDE. So we just really need to click on file here and new, and then new project, and this time select console application. If you're having trouble looking for this console application icon here, you can just click on the console under the categories drop down selection. Just click on the console application and then click go. This time just click next and then choose the C language and then put project title. So this time you can just give any project titles, so long that you're not going to put any white spaces in between words of your project title. Say for example, my first project. So my first project. So I am using the Pascal naming convention here. So in programming, by the way, there is what we call naming conventions. There are different types of conventions that we can use in giving identifiers or names of our for a specific part of our source code. So as for the project title, I just want to use my first project written here in upper Pascal case, and there should be no white spaces. You need to be very careful with this part. Alright, the next field is to have the folder to create project in. I want you to change your location to where you saved your where you created your folder for our C project. So in my case, I saved it, or I created my own inside the documents folder. So and then I named it my C project. So I just really need to click this one, select folder, and that's those are the two important things that we need to modify in this part. The rest are, you can just leave them as they are. Click next and then click finish. Alright, in order for us to jump right away with our source code, you need to collapse this sources folder here under your project management pane here. So this contains the hierarchy of your C project, the folder hierarchy, and click this main.c. So the main.c contains the main source code, also the main function. So the main function is the starting point of your C program, and there should only be one main function. Alright, you don't have to recreate and rewrite this. Okay, take note. So, and also what we have here colored in green in line 1 and 2, these are what we call the header files, the pre-processor definitions. Alright, so we need to include them because they tell our compilers that we're going to use the things that are inside standard input output header as well as standard input output library. Alright, so they are the default, by the way. So here our main function has a return type of integer. That means at the end of our function it should return something. So that's why we have added by default the keyword return here is already added with a return data of 0. So in short, this is also a default. Alright, you can change the return types of your functions, but this time it's not part of our tutorial for today or this video. Alright, so by the way, your IDE will also ignore white spaces, so don't worry with the white spaces, so long you don't put white spaces in between the keywords that are reserved for the language. Let's say for example for printf. Now this is going to produce an error in our program. Alright, so you should concatenate f with your printf. Alright, and here this source code that we have here is already runnable, and in order for us to check the source code if it's good, we just need to click this icon here on top, which says build and run. So let's click this one, and there you go. So we get our output hello world as intended. So just ignore these things here because they are the return of our compiler stating that everything is good. Right? In programming, there is what we call comment. Okay? And one more thing, all of our source code in this tutorial, you are going to write it inside your main function. So where is our main function? This covers our main function coming from line 4 up until line 8. Alright? What indicates the opening and closing of our main function? It is the curly braces. So the curly braces are the indicators that the body of the code starts and closes this part. Alright, so for main function, this is the main identifier main. You know it is a function because of the parentheses. Alright, so it is often followed, always I should say, followed by a parentheses, indicating that the next part of the code is the definition of the main function, and it has a closing. So all of our tutorials, all of our lessons will be written inside here, our main function, and you should do the same with your programming. Alright, so let's just change our output here. Let's recreate our main function. So instead of hello world, let's write our favorite mantra, which is programming is very easy. Programming is very easy. There you go. So let's click build and run. So there you go, we get the programming is very easy output. Alright, the next part is that we're going to know what are comments. So in programming, there is what we call comments. Comments are very important because they tell, let's type this one properly, comments tell the explanation of codes. So we use comments to explain things, or to, let's just say, put it simply, to explain our code. So, and these comments here, I have written it using double forward slashes. So whenever your compiler reads something that is followed by that is opened by double forward slashes, your compiler is going to consider the statements right after it as comments, and they will not be considered as part of the entire source code. So I have written 2 lines of comments here indicating about the comments. So it will not affect, I mean they will not affect the execution of our source code. So to see it, let's click build and run, and there you go, we get the same output without any problems. Alright, so comments are very important. So by the way, if we are to take off the double forward slashes just like these, so we will get like an error. If you can see, the line number 6 is getting colored. That means something is not good. Something is an error within the compiler. So to fix this one, we need to use the double forward slashes for single line comments. Alright, and aside from the single line comments, there is what we call a multi-line comment. Alright, so a multi-line comment is opened by the same, a single forward slash, and also an asterisk. Whatever follows it next are considered as comments. Alright, so you can just type any here in different lines regardless of the numbers of lines you're going to use. So for example, this is a, then you proceed to the next line, multi-line comment. I can write anything I want here. Right? So, and in order to close the multi-line comment, you just need to use the asterisk and then forward slash. There you have it. That's what you can see. Our other codes return back to their original colors. Right? So they will not going to produce any errors if we're going to click build and run. Programming is very easy. And this ends our first tutorial. Now let's see, let's talk about data types and variables in the next video.